on the last program, but I wanted to circle around because we had said, we're working on a new show. The Limit Break Radio and Final Encounter Casts, those are done through your support over at patreon.com/Limit Break Radio. And, one of the things that we have always said that we wanted to do, and that was really important to us to do as a part of this show and as a part of this company, was that we didn't want to solely rely on your support to be able to continue to produce these shows and to continue to produce content. It's kind of interesting that a lot of the decisions that we've made about how we present our content and the way that we pursue presenting our content has been reinforced with this YouTube censorship scandal that's going on that has all of the big YouTube content creators all up in arms. But we made the decision to do all of our content independent from anyone, independent from, we don't have to answer to anyone. That's why we can do shows like this. This is why we can do episodes like this. Like, is there a chance, right? Like, is there a chance that doing this episode, there would be 100 people, there would be 100 more people watching on Twitch right now than there are? Probably. Last week, we had a really good week. We had like 270 people watching us break down Live Letter 31. Yeah. And this week, it's only about 100. I've been looking, and it's about 150. It's 142 right now. Yeah. Okay. But I don't really care that those 100 people who tuned in expecting 14 got 11, because we weren't really making this episode for them.
We make every show for ourselves.
Yeah, I'd say that that's fair. And the thing is that, we don't really have to answer to anyone. We have to answer to you, the audience, in a general sense. But, that is what gives us the willingness and the ability to try kind of off-the-wall stuff like this. I would say that this was a decision that probably took some chances. There's inevitably going to be a percentage of people that tuned into this channel today that saw that we're doing FF11 and will come back expecting FF11, or we'll never come back because they assume that all we do is 11 content.
Yep,
that's a risk that we run. We're okay taking those losses. We're okay taking that criticism. We're okay if somebody hears this show and says, well, I wanted a 14 show and that's not what I got. I'm going to go somewhere else. Okay, that's fine. We've always been able to do that because we're independent, because we don't answer to anyone. There's no company that's above us that's looking over our content and going, this is okay, this is not. It's always been us. It's always been that's been the essence of Limit Break Radio, has been the 5 or at times 4 of us in the room making the show. And I love that. I love that about this show. I love that about this company. And I love that about this product. And that, I want to tell you right now, is not something that I ever want to change about what we do. It's something that we've grown into the product. It's something that we've gotten really good at. And it's something that I want to continue. But I also want to spend a minute to talk about this new show. Because for the first time ever, we have somebody who's kind of calling the shots.
Yep.
We have somebody who has expectations of us and our performance. We have somebody who is not the audience. It's not the end user of the product that has to approve it, that has to look it over and go, okay, this is acceptable.
Yep.
It's a weird position to be in. It's new for us. It's not very comfortable.
It's very strange to think up an idea and have to think, I wonder if they'll go for that.
Right.
We're just like, let's do it.
Right.
Let's see what happens.
But we have an opportunity. Again, I want to stress this, because last week, we had announced, like, we're working on a new show and that we're looking to have it distributed through the actual radio, not just a podcast, but the actual broadcast radio.
The thing that's in your car?
Yeah.
Maybe you've heard of it? The knobs and dials?
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it's kind of a mind-blowing concept that you would hear video game discussion on the radio, because that's not the classic vehicle for it. Video game content is always done very well on the internet, because the internet is sort of like intrinsically made for it.
Right.
But there's something that you guys have to realize about me as a person, that radio has literally been written into my DNA. It is etched into every fiber of my being. This is the only thing that I've ever wanted for my entire life. I don't want for much. I get disappointed really easily. I think you guys can tell that just from listening to the show. I get my hopes up, and then I get disappointed. The only thing that I've ever truly, in my heart of hearts, ever wanted for myself was to be on the radio. My dad, when I say that it's literally written into my DNA, my dad is a broadcaster of almost 40 years. My dad used to be, when he was growing up, when he was college age, when he was about my age, when I first started doing Limit Break Radio, he was in the seminary. He was studying to be a priest. Catholic priest. You can't marry, you're celibate, right? Until he found radio. It was radio that pulled him away from wanting to pursue becoming a priest. It was radio, it was at that radio job where he met a woman named Tanya, who became my mom. I have radio to thank for my very existence. It is written into every fiber of my being. It's the only thing that I've ever wanted to be since I was 6. You know how people sit around and they make believe? I used to sit around with electronic equipment and records and CDs and pretend to be a DJ. I used to make tapes being a DJ at 7, 8 years old. It's the only thing that I've ever wanted for my entire life. And to know that that is finally within grasp after 10 years of working on this, that's huge.
So close.
That is huge. And again, this is not a victory, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to reach out to a wider audience and say, this is what we do. We take big discussions within the video game community, and we have those discussions in a way that is not just entertaining, but in a way that other talk shows and other video game talk shows do not have the will to do. Whether or not it's because they get free games or they get some kind of direct sponsorship, we have seen the slow and almost inevitable creep of money, corporate money and influence and sponsorship on things like Twitch and YouTube. And we have insulated ourselves from that quite well. Don't think that that Limit Break Radio has never gotten an offer to join a larger network. Don't think for a second that we haven't had offers that look very appealing on paper. Partnerships that look very appealing on paper that we have walked away from because it compromises our content in some form or fashion. And what we're looking to do now doesn't do that. It is weird having someone who is saying, yes, this is the direction you should or shouldn't go with that discussion or this content. But never at any point will you hear us shill for a product that we don't believe in or review a game and falsely pump up its score because those people buy ad time. That's actually the advantage of working within the radio medium. We have a firewall that protects us from those influential factors. We have someone who is managing the advertising that would go on the program. We have someone who is managing the affiliates and the broadcasting outlets that we're going to. It's actually really important because we're really bad at that. That's the part of the business. We're really good at sitting around and cracking jokes and making the content. We're not as good about going out and finding advertisers and taking the pressure off of you, the listener, to support us. We understand that. And we also want to thank you for your support over the last year and a half, 2 years with the Patreon campaign. You guys have provided us an amazing foundation for us to build off of. And there's no way that Final Encountercast would have been possible, or this new endeavor would have been possible without your support. It's critical. And it's not done yet. Again, I'm going to stress this again. This is an opportunity. It's not a victory. We don't see a paycheck from this until the spots get sold. We don't see a paycheck from this until the work happens. And that seems appropriate. That, to me, seems fair. You guys have gotten us like halfway there, and we're looking at a way to get the other half there, right? Like, you got us, you were able to provide us a way to do this show every week and produce new content. And what we saw that as is an opportunity to continue expanding, but we knew that we couldn't continue to ask you to float the bill. And what's the ultimate goal? What's the ultimate? We've said this. We've stated this multiple times here on Limit Break Radio. We want to do this full time.
Yep.
We want to always be doing this. The more time that we can devote to doing this, the better I feel. I mean, as a person.
The better the content will be.
Exactly. Exactly. And I think the more that you guys in the audience would end up appreciating it, because you get more of the thing that you want. Get more of the content that we make here. And that's why you come. That's why you come to the channel. That's why you come to the website. That's why you listen to the show. You've got to like it on some level. So, to ask you guys, the listener, for a way that we could quit our jobs, for a way that we could pay our rent and feed ourselves through doing this, through working on podcasting and broadcasting. It's too big of an ask. That's too much. There's 5 people that all need to be taken care of here. There's 5 people, not just one. What we get in every month, that could easily float a solo channel full time. Easily.
Yep.
It's incredibly generous what you guys give. I've seen so many other Patreon campaigns that hit not even a quarter of what we have.
Or they hit their stretch goals and then just flame out immediately.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it's really amazing the opportunity that you guys have presented us with. And I can't thank you enough. I can't thank you enough for the people who have been there since the 11 days. It's awesome. And getting this opportunity is great. But I have to admit something. And as someone who is looked at as a bit of the de facto leader around here, I don't like admitting it. Because of the personality that I portray on air, I don't like admitting it. But I'm scared. Guys, I'm scared. Because if this fails, if we flame out on this, if this doesn't take off, I am really going to look at it as, a failure to you, the 5 of you who sit in this room, the 4 of you that sit in this room. This is sort of like an opportunity for us. This is like a way out for us. And I feel like if you don't talk about being afraid, or if you don't talk about your shortcomings, then you just ignore them. I think it's really important to talk about the moments where you are afraid, because we're like all in on this. This is like all chips in. This is do or die time. And even if it doesn't work, it's not like the whole network goes away or anything like that. It's not like anything about what we already do changes. But, we really want to make the most of this. And I don't want to fail you guys. I don't want to fail the audience and not meet their expectations. I don't want to fail the 4 of you who spend an outrageous amount of time dedicating to the production of this show, as well as performing it, the amount that you guys traveled to get here and do the show every week, and now we're adding a new show on top of it. It is a level of dedication in something that I never thought that I would get. It is hugely validating to know that just an idea that made us laugh one weekend could turn into something that sustains us for 10 years creatively. That's amazing. You guys did that. That's not me. I can't claim any credit for that. You guys show up. You guys make the time. You guys do the work. And I can't thank you enough for that. You guys are fucking awesome. And this is the last point that I wanted to make, that I am so excited that this journey gets to be with you guys.
Oh, stop.
Honestly, there's not 4 other people that I would rather have walking this road with me. And there's not 4 other people that I trust with this company, with this show, and with this audience like I trust you guys. You guys have proved time and time again how capable and competent you are. And even though I'm afraid, even though there's fear and trepidation moving forward, I know I'm in good hands. Like, I know that we have the most solid team. And that is what makes it easy to sit down and record a new pilot. That's what makes it easy to sit down and go, you know, we got this.
Yeah.
We fucking got this.
Yep. Walking out after that pilot recording was amazing.
It was.
All of us in the room were just like, wow.
And
nailed it.
And we had made a bit of a promise on the last show. We'd overpromised this a little bit, that we were going to try to do that pilot live. And we weren't able to, because when we talked to the folks that are above us, they said, we don't have any of the branding registered. We don't have any of that stuff nailed down. We can't actually we can't let that go public, because you don't know what could happen. Someone could come in and scoop the name out from under you. You don't know. You never know. You got to play those cards close to your chest. But the thing is that we do want to give you guys a preview. We do want to be able to share what we've been working so hard on and what you guys should be excited about moving into the future of this network and to the future of the content that we're going to make. So I want to invite all of you to come on over to twitch.tv/Final Encountercast. We're going to be starting over there in just about 60 minutes, right around the 5 o'clock mark. We're going to be talking, of course, about all of the latest video game news, but we also want to give you a preview of what you can expect out of this new show. We're not going to be playing a section of the new show by any means, but we're gonna, Scalia, you are one of the hosts for this new show. We've got a segment that we've worked out,
right?
And so we're gonna preview that segment for everyone coming up on Final Encountercast.
Right, it's a segment that we would do on every episode of the new show,
yes.
And we're gonna basically do that segment on Final Encountercast today.
Right.
Yep.
So, you know, and the other thing is that, you know, there's some new voices that you're going to have to get to know with this new show as well. And
yes.
that's something that we're excited about too. I mean, you know, all 5 of us are involved in a production capacity. Some of us are hosts, but we also wanted to bring a new vibe. We also wanted to bring a new energy and dynamic to this new show. We didn't want it to be a copy-paste, clean version of Final Encountercast. We wanted it to be its own new thing, and we're excited to have you guys along to join us for that ride. It's going to be awesome. I say that with all confidence now, hearing the product, having listened to what we were able to make in this room. It's going to be awesome. I'm super excited. I'm so excited about this.
Yep.
You guys in the audience, you guys have provided a way for me to pursue my dream. I never thought in my entire life that I would be lucky enough to be on the radio and talk about something that I loved. That is not an opportunity that you get in the broadcast industry. A lot of times there are people who spin records at country stations and they have no love for the genre ever. and they have less love for it the 5 years that they've plugged into it. And I get
we get to talk about video games.
I get the absolute awesome privilege of sitting in front of you guys every week and talking about video games. It's an amazing opportunity that you guys have presented us with, and we're so excited. We can't wait. That's going to be it for Limit Break Radio for this week. And I say this week because you'll never hear from FF11 version again.
No, we promise it was a one-time thing.
This is it. Yeah.
We're going to talk about 11 again in the future. I'm positive of it, but it's never going to be in this capacity.
Well, yeah, there will not be another 11 show.
This is essentially episode 65 of season 1.
Yes. Yeah. But also at the same time, 79.
Yeah, 79.
Yeah. So that's what we're going to... It'd be weird.
Officially, it's 79.
It'd be weird if we did it the other... I don't know.
It would confuse Skuro, and he's confusing all by himself. So
the less of that we have, the better.
Right, exactly.
I think. Yeah. So that is really it. Like, that's it for the 11 version of this show.
Yeah.
Goodbye, 11 show.
Goodbye. Another tearful goodbye.
And
after that tearful monologue,
I want to thank a lot of the people that have been associated with this show over the years. All of our Voices of On a Deal hosts, all of our network hosts, including Tom 2. Thank you for calling in, Tom 2. All of our hosts that have since left the show, Sale, Gamer, Arjitlam, they are all doing well. I wish we could have gotten more of them for the show, but it's kind of awkward planning on Labor Day weekend.
Yeah,
who can appear and who can't. But there have been a lot of people who have been involved with Limit Break Radio over the years. Edwith was elegantly Edwith.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Who else? What were some other names? I mean, of course, Kyle and Chase.
Kyle and Chase joining me from VOV.
Yep.
Nell was on VOV.
That's right.
Ring 3 with his Riddle Me This episode 1.
Ah, that's right. Ring 3.
Frice,
oh my
right?
goodness. Yes.
Iru.
Yeah, Frice did stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, who was on?
Iru was a thing.
We don't talk about that. He's a skeleton in the closet. Literally a skeleton because we murdered him.
Literally.
No, what was Kahlo's On Amongst Thieves? Who was with him on that?
Velux,
that's it.
Velux, yeah. No, there have been a lot of people who have been very dedicated to this project and to this idea. It's been a passion project for all of us. And, we really want to thank you guys for all of your support over the years, whether you are an original OG FF11 listener or whether you are just finding the show for the first time this week and, just start following this week. We want to thank you, all of you, for your views, for your listens, for your Max V, Tom 2, also throwing that out there. Max V and Tiger Fury, one of our repeat guests over and over again, and honestly, our show is responsible for their marriage. So
you owe us everything.
That's right.
We demand tribute.
But honestly, like, you guys, it's really been you guys that have been the audience that has been the driving force in Limit Break Radio. It is our personal passion about the game that does drive a lot of this, but it's your guys' engagement and involvement with the show that keeps us here. It keeps us here far longer than our attention spans would have otherwise kept us here. It's 100% true.
Yeah.
So we do really want to thank you guys, all of your support. And again, I know this sounds like a eulogy for Limit Break Radio, and it is for the 11 version, but not for the 14 version. 14 version's not going anywhere. Even with launching this new show, the 14 version of the show, you guys have supported that in droves, and there's no way that we're gonna let that lapse. That we're committed to making that happen.
Someone in the chat asked when we were first talking about it, will the person kind of that we're overseeing our new show, they don't have any say over LBR or FEC. Those shows remain independent of the new show. Yep. We would never let anyone tell us what to do on those.
Yeah. And honestly, the people that we have consulting for us right now, they're not gamers.
No.
I don't think that if we took a contentious position or a contentious opinion on something on that show, I don't know that they'd even be able to flag it as like, oh, well, that's not maybe in the best interest of this advertiser. I think that we're still going to be able to be this place for really unique discussions about the video game industry. I mean, that's what we've done so well for so long. Whether it's been finding unique topics for FF11 or 14, or whether it's been the unique take that we've had on any of the articles or discussions that we've had on Final Encountercast all year. I think that we just have a natural ability to not get caught up in the extremely granular, fine details of things. That's where I think a lot of podcasts make their mistakes. They start getting into that didactic thing that we used to do in FF11, but we stopped doing. We stopped trying to teach people things and just started having discussions. And that's sort of the same spirit that we're looking to bring into this new show. We're not going to tell you the latest character adjustments on fucking Tracer. Like, that's not going to happen. But we are going to say, well, how does the meta of Overwatch, how has that been changing in the last 6 months or with the last 2 patches? Big conversations like, could we ever see esports as an Olympic sport? These are big discussions. They're big. They've got a macro context to them. They're not discussions that you would hear on other gaming podcasts. And so those are the kinds of things that we're looking to bring to the table. And you know what? We've got a lot of people, who are really interested in this. So we can't wait to tell you a little bit more about it, but we're not in a position to be able to say that much about it.
We just can't yet.
Yeah, we really can't. We want to. I mean,
we promise it's coming, and we want to.
We've got the pilot. Like, we've got the pilot, and we're chomping at the bit to allow people to hear it. But we do have to be able to protect the brand.
LBR has too many secrets to keep. I don't like this anymore.
I know, right?
Think about it this way, though. At the end of October, we'll be out of secrets to keep.
Yeah, you're kind of right.
It'll feel. How good is that going to feel?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. As soon as I can sleep off all of that exhaustion.
Oh, God, yeah.
I think it'll feel pretty great.
I think I'm just going to disappear for the first week of November and sleep for a week straight.
So you're skipping Youmacon then?
Oh, God. I forgot.
Yeah.
Never mind. I'm just going to die.
Yeah.
That
sounds about
That's
right.
my plan.
All right. Guys, that does it here for Limit Break Radio. Thank you so much for listening and calling in and for your support throughout all of these years. It's really been fantastic. So, in classic LBR fashion, got to go around the room. We got to do outros. So, was I the first one to kick that off?
No, you're the last.
I'm the last. That's what I thought. So thanks, guys, for listening to Limit Break Radio. LimitBreakRadio.com, Twitter.com/LimitBreakRadio, Facebook.com/LimitBreakRadio. Listen to all the stuff and come back next week. Promise you we'll be talking about FF14.
And I'm Juxtaposition. Sleep well, Vanadil.
This is Escala Ryomasa saying there's no problem that Super Jump can't fix.
This is Vicky, and I'm trying really hard not to cry.
This is Papa Woody. You guys have a safe weekend.
And I'm Aniero. Keep listening.